Hi again, it's again Melikachian. So we'll talk about how to convert a small advantage to the real point, to the full game, to the full point. This time I'm going to continue my previous game, my previous lesson. So first time we discussed about the most famous game, for this pawn structure, I believe, Petrosian Babinnik. This time I found very nice parallel after 45 years from original game in Russia Cup 2008. Two grandmasters, Nikita Vitigov and Yakovich Yuri, played, and they had, I wouldn't say absolutely the same pawn structure, but pretty much close. And the way how the game continue, it's kind of remind me the classical game Petrosian Babinnik. So we had d4, d5. So this one line of the theory. Obviously, there's some other ways to play from black side, but we're not going to discuss about the opening part. It's another story. So bishop c4, d5, knight f6, so as you see, we have similar pawn structure as in famous game Petrosian, Petrosian Babinnik 1963. Obviously, it's hard to claim White's going to win this game. Well, obviously, White's better because they have better pawn structure, and the way how a game continue, like I said, it's pretty much reminding me the classical game. So fx e6, a4. Same principles. I'm trying to have my pawn on the white colors. I'm trying to squeeze black pawns on the queen side and gain some space on the queen side. A4, b6. Well, as I mentioned in the first game, it's possible to play b6, but I don't think so. A5 at this point is going to be a real threat. And I believe what black should do is to play knight c6 immediately, and then try to jump on d5 with knight or e4. Try to use the squares to for possible creating counter plays. So b6 is kind of slow motion move. b6, knight bd2. Well, now it's become target b6 pawn, and now black need to deal with that. Now they will ask themselves how they will deal with that, how to protect b6 pawn and a6 pawn, because you can't really move your king, because every time when you do that, it's going to be trouble after I jump on g5. So black decided to go here, bishop d6, b3, knight c6. Well, as you see, it's nothing much, because you wouldn't say here White's gonna have big edge here. They will win a game. No, but the fact of how White pieces develop. For instance, we have a good bishop looking down by the diagonal, fighting for e5 square. Knight also in the right place, and knight will jump on c3. So to make it more Petrosian game style, I need to put my knight on e4, because this is the best position for my knight will be to stay. So we'll king e2, rook d7, knight g5, rook e8, knight c4. Well, why not knight e4? Let's say either knight or e4. It's still okay to play this way, but I think White refused to go to follow like classical game, because they've been afraid, not afraid, but I guess they didn't like a bishop e5 move, And after bishop e5, knight at e5, black will have enough compensation because they have a d3 square, they might jump. That's the reason why Grandmaster with Hugo decided to go knight c4 to control e5 square, and go for the trade, as we've seen in the previous game with d1. Well, now, like I said, white not really worried about if black will try to chase the knight, because if you do that, first of all, I have tricky move knight f7, and for black it will be tough to protect the 6 square. In fact, I can also jump at some point on e5 because I have three attacks of e5 square, and it's going to be really unpleasant for black. And in fact, I also need to mention, with jumping on f7, knight has also tricky threat taken on h6 because we have f6 knight hangs after a gh. So they can play h6 really here. They went here rook e7 to protect f7 square. Well, this is about staying away from possible blundering h2 pawn, and most importantly, white trying to gain some space on the king side. Same thing. Now I'm trying to jump on e5 if I could. With e7. Well, this is kind of I believe another mistake of black. What they did, they trade the rooks. That I didn't like it. As I mentioned in my first video, I said this type of position, black not supposed to try to trade the pieces. They're supposed to try to keep pieces alive. The only chance here to survive is to play with as more as possible pieces involved in a game. So rook d7, again, it's hard to call this move as an obvious mistake, but it's kind of dubious move. I think black's supposed to try to play e5 here to not let black to place knight e5 and squeeze black pieces. So I think it's a very poor decision by playing rook d7, king d7. Obviously by knight. Why obviously? Because for instance, if you take my knight here, this is absolutely lost, because typically it's an endgame when a bishop wrestling knight, and we have a pawn on the, both sides. Most of the time, bishop is monster, and it's going to be a simple win for white here. That's why taken by knight, king e7, f3. It's about making restriction. So this pawn taking away two important squares. It's e4 and g4. So again, now white will try to use space advantage, and most importantly, they will try to use pawn majority on the king side. f3, g5. Well, it's understandable. Black trying to kind of simplify position on the king side because king side is weak. They're trying to trade few pawns and have less headache. So g5 is kind of a sensible move. And now we'll take a look at this move, guys. So this is a really good move. I really like it. g4. So now I'm fixing another pawn on dark square. So dark bishop, dark pawn, and dark pawn on g5. So as soon as black pawn stand on g5, white immediately fix that pawn, nail that pawn to stay on g5 forever. So g4, it's very good move. Knight e8. Well, that move, the main idea was to stay away from possible extra situation, because every time white could jump with knight and then attack f6 knight. So black simply trying to stay away from, as I said, possible extra situation. And also they're trying to support b5 and c4. They're trying to create some counterplay on the queen side. Now c4 will become annoying threat, and white need to respond. And the best move here, bishop e5. Obviously, right now you can't play c4 because I have bishop d6 check. So black need to play first, either move the knight or move the bishop. Bishop d8. Now white improving position by bringing the king first. So this is another important move. Why white on b8? Well, first of all, why this diagonal? Answer is very simple: to prevent bishop c7 and get back to the same thing. Secondly, this diagonal bishop feels much better. If you do this way, then maybe after king f6 followed by e5, I might shut down your bishop. And that's the reason why white trying to stay aggressive, and they decided to have bishop b8, because on b8 my bishop has opportunity at some point to play bishop a7. I might consider that in future. And this is also control the whole diagonal, and this is very active bishop on b8. Bishop b8, a5. Now this pawn hanging. She could do ba or b5, you're in trouble. So black went here, king c6. And now we have 4 islands versus 1 island. So too many weaknesses. It's probably plus endgame already here. So ab, bishop takes b6, not e5 check. As I mentioned again, so I'm going to remind one more time, the key of winning these positions is simplifying the game, because every time when you're dealing with better pawn structure, I mean, when you are better pawn, having better pawn structure, and you're dealing with bad pawn structure, one on the general terms, how you should continue your game, how you should proceed, it's a simplification. It's simplify your game, take your game to the basic end game. So knight e5 check. Bishop takes e5. The only move to defend the pawn. Again, only move to prevent king d5. And now very simple. My bishop controls e5 square. I played f4. It's time. And now it's a really important move, guys, to understand. I'm betting most of the people will take the pawn f4 with pawn. So first of all, you could ask me the question, so why should I trade the pawn if his pawn stands to the g5 square? The reason, it's very simple. If you don't play f4 right here, if you go away with your bishop, then I play e5, I might be able to hold a draw. Even my pawns, all my pawns stand to dark squares, I still have a chance to make a draw. Because you kind of having a situation when you also, let's say you're having kind of situation when your pawn cannot be advanced, and your 3 pawns having the same thing as my 2 pawns. This is the first reason. Second reason, I'm pretty much sure why they decline, because the main reason is not even e5 stuff. It's about bishop. It's about simply playing with my bishop and standing, because when you play e5, you will still make weak squares on the king side. So now I'm going to explain why. Why not ef? Because after ef, it's still better for white, but the king on d5 will remain for a long time. What you have to do, you must try to kick me by playing e4 move, right? That's why you must play bishop takes f4. And now it's idea to play e4, kick the king, grab c4 square, and push the pawn. So bishop f4. Black tried last chance c4 to create passer on a file, but king c6, g5. I also have this is pass pawn on g file, king d7, c5, last chance. Destruction and simple win. Black design. So I hope you like this game also. As you see, it's a parallel. It's a similar game as a game between Petrosian. As one small weakness, one problem on the e6 will eventually bring the whole headache for black side. And as I said before, I think generally speaking, it's a unpleasant type of positions to play for that side who has this kind of pawns, because they understood they're not really in big trouble, but they do understood also they having a pleasant position and they don't have clear plan to play. And that's the problem. That's the main reason why, practically speaking, most of the times, this kind of position, it's very hard to protect on higher level of playing chess. But also, I will mention that it's also required from other side, from the stronger side, to have pretty much high technique to be able to win these positions. It's not that easy. You must be very patient and you must be very well educated in order to win those positions. Well, I hope these two games will help you out to understand how to play in situation when you're dealing with better pawn structure, how to be patient, and I hope you understood basically how to win a game, sometimes not playing too much tactics and simply playing positional games. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.